It's fine. Hello, we're back. Welcome back to Pen and Sword, an extremely professional Dungeons and Dragons actual play. So it is so professional that we have you know what? You don't need to know. Suffice to say, a lot's going on, guys. A lot's going on. Everyone, you know, boys, girls, and NBs, it is stressful running this thing. It feels like I'm doing it out of a cardboard box, but it's okay. We're in one piece. We're here, and we're good to go. So let's just...
it's definitely being run out of a paper bag, not a cardboard box.
Yeah, there you go. That's a bit better. Paper bag. That makes more sense. But, what better way to do it? We're here. We're back. Thank you for joining us. We need you now more than ever. Last week was very stressful for everyone. Or maybe last week. I realized I forgot that we take a break at the end of the month. So I keep saying weeks. Last episode, the most recent episode we published, I was like, come back in a week. But it's our break week. So it's actually 2 weeks. Point is, the last time we were here, things were pretty scary. Pretty dangerous. Our intrepid, brave, fearless, powerful adventurers had been in the city.
On us with another party?
I would never. Listen, babe, come on. It's not like that. It's okay. Don't look at my phone. Last session, we were in... I shouldn't make that joke. We were in Drusar. I'm leaving it in. We were in Drusar, furthering our attempts, our research into Ruidus-born people, their connections to this whole thing, what's going on. And in bouncing around between Drusar, back to Westrun, so much teleportation. We love teleportation here. Who needs to walk? We ran back into some old friends. We met Nimra's co-worker, Yelika Rosso. We found out that Yelika is working with Question, an old acquaintance of Huxley, Rick, and Mal's from their time in Ank'Harel, saving the Apothean. And it turns out that Yelika and Question are working together, furthering her big magnum opus academic theory of mythic resonance, this idea that great deeds, great actions, heroic moments leave a physical and magical imprint on the world that carries throughout history and almost encourages such acts to happen in the same places again. This was what brought her into Rick, Mal, and AJ's life when she was having dreams of the Jewel of Three Prayers of the Apothean. You weren't? Yeah, you were. Rick was there when you all met her.
I know, but AJ wasn't.
AJ wasn't. What? Really?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mal, Huxley, and Rick.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Just as long as we're all there. Those of you keen-eyed observers, you know what I'm talking about. Ruby, you'll see it in the when you edit.
Will I? Okay, all right. Anyway, when you met her, she was having dreams of the Apothean, of the Jewel, that led you guys on the path you were on, and now, it seems, when you ran back into her, went to her for help getting into the Ascension's Rise, as that's where she was working, she's having them again. She's dreaming of strange artifacts, of strange events, and she's convinced that it's her theory at work again. You're back in her life, more people are with you, she's dreaming of freaky stuff, shit's getting weird, she knows something's up. You met with her back in Drusar, and an old turtle friend of hers stayed the day there after she offered to go dig through the Ascension's Rise for you, so you didn't have to waste a bunch of time getting permission to get in. By that evening, she returned to you. You went to call up Yelika to head back, and got no answer. Rushing back to the Cobalt Reserve in Westrun, you arrived to find pandemonium. A cadre of devils had attacked the reserve, raided it, parading through its halls, killing its staff, and you arrived just as this strange, otherworldly, infernal machine with its foot pressed on the chest of the High Curator of the Cobalt Reserve, a gun pointed to his head, unlike any you'd ever seen, blew his head clean off, and you engaged in the fight that ensued. And it was not easy, and there was a lot of scattering. There were horned devils on top of the machine itself, on top of other devils scattering to the winds to scoop people up and get something from the reserve, presumably. And after a tense 40 seconds, something like that, you lie in the aftermath of that fight. The stragglers had been dealt with, but Nimra had died at the hands of this machine just before Huxley was able to destroy it. At the very least, Huxley did so before the machine tore Nimra's arm off and absconded with it. As we all reconvened, dealing with this, our patron devil, Haster, arrived and began tearing through the building, mopping up the scragglers. As you all gathered round Nimra's body, and Melancholy desperately pulled a bottle out of her bag, having promised to herself not to let this happen again, and popped the cork and used Raise Dead to begin an impromptu ritual. Rick passed out from exhaustion because AJ wasn't here. Off to the side, Celiana, Huxley, Mal, saying their piece. The cat's so cute. Saying their piece and doing their best to encourage and recall Nimra's soul back to their body. Performed this ritual, and just before you thought it had failed, Haster stepped in and contributed as well, pulling that golden strand back to Nimra, reconnecting them, and bringing life back to them. Stepping back as the ritual ended, and you came back to yourselves. There was a big, long hug, unlike any Nimra has ever seen in their lives. And we took a moment, caught our breath, and we'll pick back up where we were.
Okay.
Nimra kneeling by the body of the High Curator in tears. Yes?
Before we get back into the narrative.
Yes?
Mac, when Nimra casts, they use both hands as part of a somatic piece, right? Guys, so... All right, great. I'm just making sure, because we could have just had a log walking around with us. So as long I'm good to know we still have a wizard.
Yeah.
That's
It's
great.
fine. They do have Warcaster now, so I mean.
Oh, so they can cast with one arm.
They can cast with one arm. As of this last
It would have been
level.
fine. It would have been fine.
all of
But
a
thankfully
sudden,
it didn't happen.
I had a small panic attack. I was like, the wizard is useless.
Almost. It almost got a lot worse.
Almost.
But we did it.
Sorry, back into the, very dark and the hugs and...
Right.
Yeah,
Yes. Very serious.
very serious.
As we were. Like I said, Nimra kneeling beside the curator's body, who lay there, head gone, but hands clutching a sending stone on the ground. The others, the survivors who had hidden away in a panic room, explaining why Yelika didn't answer, it was warded and the message never got through. They re-emerged. You counted them out. I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, but a lot of people are dead and not that many people are still alive. And now that's where we're at. You find yours. You do? What were they?
64 dead, 7 missing.
There we go.
Oh, that's not so bad.
And something, how many were alive? Did you have that?
15 accounted for survivors.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
then yeah, no, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's
That is what,
Those aren't great numbers. Okay.
that is what remains of the Cobalt Reserve at this moment. So now where you are, standing about in this foyer, the magic ward's still protecting the bookcases and shelves and the writings of the archive. The others having come out, and if I recall correctly, Yelika having mentioned after some back and forth that the Astural scrolls are missing.
Yeah.
From Aken. What do you do?
So just as a clarification, Nimra's still hunched over the body of the High Curator. Rick is gone to the world right now.
Yeah,
And there's only,
probably
like-
on the ground snoring.
There's only like 3 people actually actively doing things right now.
Yes. At the moment, you have most of the 15. Yalika and Question, who was with you, not from the reserve, but was with you, are talking to each other and a couple others. And most people are sort of tending to the bodies, gathering them, checking to see who they have, and planning next steps at the moment. No one's engaged with any of you directly.
Yeah, Huxley is definitely he wants the core, like he took the core, but he is dismantling every bit of this what's left of this creature for parts. Like, one, to understand how it works, and two, just to have scrap, because like this is useful stuff if he needs to make something, but that's also how he deals with the emotion of everything that just happened.
I'll say, first roll. Go ahead and make an investigation check, or if you have Tinker's tools and proficiency with them, make a Tinker's
do.
tool check to see what you can salvage, what between what you ascertain to be useful and what you can pick apart without breaking further, to see how much of it you can get apart from the core itself.
Okay. I think depending on what attribute you want me to use for Tinker's tools, I think it would end up being about the same.
I'd say either intelligence or dexterity makes sense.
Okay. Oh, that's actually good.
Nice.
That's a 19 with the Tinker's tools.
Okay. So you're able to gather a good amount of it. A lot of it was just kind of decimated, right? But there are kind of big chunks of its body that are still in one piece. The most damaged part is its kind of torso. What held the core kind of fell apart and left the core clattering, spinning on the ground. But you can salvage like pieces of its arms. Most of its head is still in one piece. This kind of almost CCTV camera looking thing. It's just got a big light, like big ring light on the front, now dim and inert, and it is quite literally shaped like a CCTV camera. You can salvage most of it with like maybe like a chunk missing off like a top layer of metal. But this is like, make a history check actually also.
Ah! Not great. That's a 12.
This is unlike anything you've ever worked with, handled. This metal is unique. This construction is unique. You've seen automatons in Drusar and elsewhere on occasion, in Hopperduk sometimes, but this is different. This thing was different. Its construction was different. Its behavior was different. It's unlike anything you've ever seen before, and you have no idea what it could be.
Well, I know I made a roll last time, and I was able to determine that it was an Aormaton, right?
Never mind. Forgot we did that already. My bad.
One of the
You
first
do know
rolls
what
of
it
combat.
is.
I was there when
Right.
you gave that information to Huxley.
It was early in the set. Listen, guys,
Yeah.
we took a week off. I forgot. Okay, my bad. Never mind. Huxley is smart and does know what it is.
The 5th
It
line
is-
that I wrote in my notes
Wow.
from last session.
Okay. I guess I can't take breaks. Yes, it's an Aormaton. You recognize it as, in particular, that unique kind of automaton only ever found originating in the flying city of Aor. Nowadays, occasionally found awake and lucid, more often than not with no memory of their past, wandering the world and finding new purpose. Though this one clearly, where it found its purpose is probably a bit different than most of the ones people tend to see walking around.
You think? Sorry, that was sassy.
Was that
It's okay, be
Huxley or
mad.
Taka?
Be mad. It's okay. As you're pouring over this and as you're all tending to your things, Nimra, you'll actually, as you're over the High Curator's body, you'll actually hear something in your head, a voice that is quite immediately familiar to you. Archivist, we've received word that the reserve was attacked. This is Curator Udrol on behalf of the Iman Archives, inquiring as to all your safety.
Okay. I'm assuming. Yep. Okay. Nimra.
Are you in a poor enough emotional state yet?
Nimra is going to wipe away their tears and kind of steal. Anybody who might be looking would see them, like, their back kind of straighten out, and they would stand up, survey around, and possibly go over to if they notice the living before they answer, because I don't think they were told a death toll quite yet.
Yeah.
So I guess they would talk to Yalika in question, because they're probably the closest.
Mm-hmm.
Yalika, what's the status thus far? How many?
Most of us are gone. We have about 7 unaccounted for, but there's only about 15 of us, not including yourself, or question, of course. There's about 15 of us left that we can tell.
Is there anything missing?
Only one thing. Seems it was quite a targeted attack. From quite deep in the restricted section, the Historical Scrolls, a set of writings from the Age of Arcanum that we collected not all that long ago, from an old tower still standing, not all that far south from here. That's all that's missing. That's all that's unaccounted for.
Thank you. And if this is the spell that I'm thinking it is, Nimra is going to respond back in their head. There are 15 archivists left at this location. 7 unaccounted for. Most dead. Including our High Curator. We have 1 item missing. And damage to the reserve itself. This wasn't a targeted attack.
After another moment, you'll hear the voice again. That is most unfortunate. A great deal worse than I had assumed. We have staff on the way to assist. I'm relieved to hear your voice after this.
Ouch. The only thing, if Nimra is allowed, if good to reply.
Yeah, you can.
The only thing Nimra will reply with is, we will be awaiting any support you can offer. Thank you. And that's it. That's all they will respond with back.
And you quite literally feel the spell come through with no further words. Like you get the sending equivalent of seeing someone open their mouth to speak and then not speaking.
Wow, just burn the spell. That's baller.
And as conversation kind of continues a bit, and people are sort of, licking their wounds, footsteps can be heard from down a ways. And the first thing, actually, I should check. Come on, girl, you got this. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. So, you see several people coming from down the hall, and you all notice by the time they're kind of coming through the entryway to the reserve, um, you see several people, uh, some faces you might recognize from passing by them in Amman, about 4 or 5 people who are strangers to you, whose names you don't know, as well as uh, a light pink tiefling with white hair and black eyes, dressed in these kind of purple and blue robes. Melancholy sister, who you'd met back in Amman as well, and you also immediately hear, "Huh! And she dives behind something in the distance. Fucking book. She's like, "Oh shit!" and runs for her fucking life and hides behind a fucking shelf, very loudly. And walking in tandem with Joy, Nimra, if you could describe Nimra's mother, please.
Oh God.
Oh
I'd like. Nimra's mother is a decent amount shorter than Nimra. I'd like to say that they're sitting somewhere around like 5'7", 5'8", so not really short by any stretch of the imagination. But when Nimra's 6'5", short. They're in that same kind of pale blue tone. They don't wear any accessories, and their entire. If somebody could look more stoic and more closed off than Nimra does, their mother looks exactly like that. Dressed in all of the blues, very harsh, very severe looking woman with just very angry looking features, very stoic and angry looking features. And she armored to the teeth.
And as she comes in, you see she's in conversation with Joy, and they kind of speak a bit before sort of splitting off. And she doesn't notice any of you specifically yet. She's just kind of moving between the staff, though it's quite clear Joy is sort of taking call, as are the other people who are either speaking to people, or the other 4 or 5, or immediately assisting with collecting the wounded and the bodies. But Nimra's mother it's like a couple words before moving on. Yeah, she's looking for you. It's not difficult to recognize. But she's bouncing around till she finds what she's looking for. And now, at this point, are you all gathered together? Are you all close to each other? Or you think you're all spread out?
I feel like we're still in, even if we're not together, we're like in that entryway area, not too far from each other.
Got it. Okay. But yeah, she's bouncing around trying to, and she does eventually catch sight of you, and sort of like beeline, right, like straight to you, and you see, as you saw her moving around and like kind of taking in the scene, she still maintained that kind of look that you described, this the stoicness, this slight tinge of anger, this seriousness, but it's not hard to see the white knuckling as she's going around. But when she gets to Nimra, she just immediately just takes your hands and just like kind of like stops herself and takes a breath and just, "It's good to see you intact. Seeing the state of this place, are you all right?"
Nimra looks very obviously uncomfortable. I wasn't. Now I am. Do you bear any information, or are you what curator Udrol had sent as backup?
And there's a kind of her face is still straight, but her body language betrays like a kind of like a sort of sag of disappointment, and she just yes, we're here to help with recovery and ascertain the nature of what happened. This was all quite quick. He only got word minutes ago. We're going to, do what we can, but the damage is severe, and loss of life quite a bit more intense than we had predicted. We've reached out to other archives. We've reached back to Rexentrum and even to the Valley Archive as well. There are others intended to come by when they can. As you know, this is the largest archive on the continent, and an attack of this scale is, well, it's causing a lot of concern up the chain. I'm sorry you weren't all right, but I'm glad you are now. And she kind of holds again, and in the same way you felt it through your mind, you feel her tense to speak and not, and purposefully withhold. And your father will be here later on. If you're still here, we should talk. I must tend to things for now. And she'll just kind of squeeze your hands and release and turn back and start mingling in with the others and trying to get a lay of what the hell happened. Mal, you'll hear in your head, is she gone?
Is she?
No. She's busy. She's talking to people, helping, moving things around. She's working here, so.
No. Do you want to?
No. And then just, I'm gonna sneak around the back to Nimra's office. I'll be in there. Will she sneak around?
No, she won't.
Oh.
Yeah, she's all right. She's all right. She rolled like a 19. She's okay. Rick definitely sees her. Big ass fucking muscular form moving in the. But she's gray now.
Let's be
like
clear.
melds with the darkness.
Let's be clear. Rick is always tracking melancholy. Like
That's
it's one of those things you always know where your toddler is in the room. Same idea.
Totally fair.
Real.
Yeah, you see her slinking off. She dives between the bookshelves and then into a hallway, making her way to where she said she's going.
Huxley will kind of gather up the bits and bobs that he's dissected and kind of start making his way to just tracking where everybody is. Whoever's close. Maybe Celiana, since Seal wasn't as messed up by... Oh, no, Seal got pretty messed up, but we'll say he goes to Celiana first.
She's doing alright.
Do we want to maybe regroup somewhere where there's not quite as much viscera?
Yes, I think that would be probably smart. I think give some people a break.
I would like a break. Okay. Do we? Rick's still asleep, isn't he? Can we? I'll start just trying to wake Rick up.
I did acknowledge that Rick saw her going out, so I guess
true.
I kind of assumed that you woke up. But
to be fair,
back
I'm
it up.
fairly certain, even with the disadvantage for being unconscious, his passive is just about enough to keep track of melancholy.
Actually, is it? Because I checked
I don't think
her
it is.
Her stealth is a lot higher than I thought. She got a 26 on that roll.
Oh, then
actually.
yeah,
Oh.
then no way. No, with the
Okay,
minus
so
5
fair.
on the
Yeah,
passive, Rick won't. So yeah,
Yeah.
Rick's probably on.
Just take out one of Rick's little cheeses and then crack it. Hold it in front of his nose.
Mozzarella with cinnamon and orange. It's no. I think as soon as he wakes up, he goes, "Where's Melancholy?"
She went to Nimra's office. Snuck out the back.
Yeah, I think at this point, Seal is trying to wrangle Nimra back over if it seems like they're done with their professional duties.
Sure. I don't. We should. Rick's just gonna start walking off towards Nimra's office.
Okay. And those of you still there, who all still in that main section? No.
I think we're all in the process of getting ready to
Yeah.
leave at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, never mind. Okay.
I'll head over and help Huxley gather up pieces.
Okay. You can get your things together and start making your way deeper into the halls, and you still run into some people, moving bodies and collecting things in this area, taking inventory and all that sort of stuff. But by the time you get towards the far back, passing the sort of atrium where the teleportation circle is, and arriving near Nimra's office, there's someone waiting, standing outside the door, just kind of leaned up against the wall, kind of arms crossed. A young human woman, looks like maybe like mid-20s, very sort of prim and proper and dressed in sort of cobalt soul colors, though Nimra, you don't immediately recognize the face. As you, assuming everyone still approaches, unless someone wants to do otherwise, as you do, she just kind of like stands off and just, "Oh, good, you're here. I was hoping we'd get the privacy." And her eyes flash sort of yellow, and she just, "Are we going inside?"
Rick. Oh, this is a bad idea.
Your friend's already waiting.
Yeah. You said she's in cobalt soul robes.
Yeah,
But her
she, like,
eyes flashed
if you don't know the
yellow.
faces, she looks like a young cobalt soul like resident here. But yeah, her eyes, as she spoke, her eyes went like a wave of yellow passed over them. Yeah.
We already know who this is.
Yeah, Rick throws a punch.
Oh,
Okay, let me pull something up. Make an attack. Go ahead and roll an attack.
Yeah, no. Unarmed's not going to be enough. Let me confirm that, but I'm pretty sure it's only like a 15. Or not, because, there wouldn't be any information around. Oh, 14. It's a 14.
Yeah, that does not hit.
I didn't think so.
You go to swing, and just like, with like no expression of physical effort, just out of the way. I understand, but let's not be rash. There will be plenty of chances for you to get that out of your system. We need to talk. All of us, together.
Can we not get through this without more violence? I have had it up, and Nimra motions with their hands. I've had it up to here. I want
agree.
this over with. And Nimra will go and push past everybody to open the door to their office and go inside. Well, it'd be better to say they storm inside.
Interesting developments. After you. And he'll wait. And Nimra, when you step in, you will see Melancholy has made a little bed out of the papers on your couch, and it's just kind of like laying back like this, like with her hands on her face, just like, oh fuck. And then as soon as you come in, oh shit, I wasn't sitting on anything. Hey, sorry.
Did you start working out?
That's a... Yeah, last night.
Talk about super gains.
I have a question. Does she mean that seriously? Is she trying to gaslight Nimra, or is she making a joke?
She's not making a joke, but she knows that's not believable, but she still said it anyway.
You don't know that.
Well, then in that case, here, roll an insight. I'll roll her deception.
Roll for job.
Yeah. That is a 13.
27.
Yeah,
So-
Nimra believes it.
Sweet.
Mel, what the fuck is up with this?
I started working out last night. Ask Nimra. Now, I should ask, do all of you go in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll go in.
Rick is not going to let Hastor be behind him ever again. So Rick will stand
So he
there
kinda-
and just wait until Hastor enters the room.
He kind of looks at you and just, all right, big man. And we'll step in.
Okay. Rick will step in and close the door.
And he will also, you look different. Why is everybody saying, like, okay, man, a girl can't pick up some weights? Jeez.
Well, didn't it was your hair? No, not the hair. Not the. You were not. Weren't you more of a the color? Something's different. Something's very different. Are you wearing lifts?
The boss is here. I think we have to. I think we have other stuff to talk about first. We can do that later. Okay. It's just, she kind of like sort of steps forward and just, yes, later. Now more pressing things. It's very serious in expression. And she sort of positions herself to be able to face all of you together on the side of the room. And now her eyes kind of are just fully yellow, with no pupil, no sclera, just yellow. And first things first. I'm sorry for, well, there's a lot to talk about, but I failed to satisfactorily hold up my end of the deal,
Yeah.
and I apologize. Of course, admittedly, it was fortunate I was watching you when I was, but I acted rashly, failed to confirm where you were, and took much longer to arrive than I had hoped. I'm glad to see the Archivist is okay, and you are all injured but standing. I'm relieved there are no casualties amongst you. But regardless, that is on me. That in mind, I would like to offer, and I won't enforce it if it is beyond your comfort, but by my recommendation and my offer, it is late, and I do not feel you are safe resting anywhere here. I would like to offer a place in my palace for you to rest for the night. Really, in my palace. No vision, no dream. Take you there and keep you safe until you're fully recuperated. Or at least have had a nice rest. We must talk, and I would prefer to talk there regardless, but for the time being, I would suggest as much. And Mr. Rose, similarly, I won't enforce it on you, but by my recommendation, I would suggest leaving that core with me for safekeeping. They will want it back.
Who is they?
I didn't expect... I didn't expect this to be on the table, and it surprised me. That machine, known as IAV-1, this is a retrofitted construction of the people we are working against. The prized possession of someone I quite despise.
Rick gives a little bit of a smirk.
I would have assumed they'd save it for bigger threats, more pressing matters, or, as it has regularly been used, personal protection. But it seems whatever they were after here was most important. And you...
So this is separate. This is separate from the automata they're sending to find Rudispawn? Or are there more of these?
So, for clarification, you haven't heard that they're sending automata to collect anyone. Devils are out collecting people, as you saw evidenced when the Baron attacked Laurel. But this is the first automata you've seen.
Because we were told, I think Camilla told us, automata
Yeah.
being crafted to find Rudispawn. But she might have had wrong information.
You're right. No, you're right. She mentioned an automata. So
Okay.
I would say, I mean, through line, that's a fair question, but also there's a connection. Yeah. And Nimra, you'll hear just quietly behind your back, "Oh shit. Don't let him see me. He'll fucking erase me from existence." I hear you.
So do I.
This is your boss. This is your boss's plaything, is it not? What was his name? Paimon?
And you see the young woman's jaw clench, and she just kind of like her hand and Scoot visibly appears and is like and like pulled out from behind you, frozen, and he just kind of like she pulls him over and just, "Who are you, little friend?" Listen, man, listen. Oh, I recognize the eyes. Hey. Are we cool? I've been helping them.
Wait.
God, he's spinning again.
Above table? I just
He is spinning. He's spinning in place. Sorry, yeah. What's up, Mac?
Above table, I have from like 2 sessions ago that they summon Haster to move them, and I have underneath that, Haster fucking hates Scoot, all caps. So I think they met.
They have.
I'm pretty
mine
sure.
says Haster hates Scoot also in all caps.
Oh, I wonder if I wrote that. Let me see.
I'm sure I have something like that also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait, wrong. Wait,
And kind of held in place. He's like
yeah,
still
fuck it.
spinning, and now on
It's
purpose.
fine.
He's being spun in a circle.
Oh, little guy.
You're playing a dangerous game, imp. Listen, I'm just playing both sides, so I come out on top, baby. That's how it works. Okay, all right. No jokes. He like crushes him a little bit. Okay. You know, I can follow you home. This will be the last moonlight you ever lay eyes on, you little wretch. What are you fucking doing here? And I was looking for stuff. I was looking for the thing they were looking for, and then they caught me in here, and I was like, I'll help you, but you gotta sign me up, because then I can't go back, because then if I go back, I'll get in trouble. Just to be cool. Just be cool, man. Be cool. I'm cool. He just into a little ball, and he just disappears.
I wanted to do that.
You'll get your chance. Archivist, if you did sign, you should be able to summon him back. And I would recommend doing so quickly before he is permanently done.
Nimrod's going to sigh and be forced to waste a first level spell slot on Find Familiar.
Yeah, and that's right. That's not a ritual cast. So as you summon him back, he's just like, oh, fuck, ow, and he's like kind of like laying on the couch. And Hastur will just kind of like sort of like touch your arm a moment, and a little shimmer from his hand, and you will regain that spell slot.
Oh wow! You know, it
If
should
you are...
Go on.
Go ahead.
I was just making an above table comment. Go for it.
Okay. If you are done playing with this thing, are there more
Hey.
of these?
No, not that I know of. This was a unique creation, hence their desire to get the callback. This isn't the first time it's been destroyed. It is sent out to battle, to collect things, to do things, to perform a mission and either succeed or perish, be collected and rebuilt stronger to not fail the second time. As far as I know, this would mark the third time it has been defeated in the 500 or so years it has existed.
Which is why
Quite
you want to
impressive.
keep the core.
I would recommend keeping it with me, as I feel it would be safer in my palace than in your hands, where they might come collect it again. But, truthfully, this outcome was my mistake. I should have been there. I won't enforce this on you if you feel you cannot trust me to keep it. But it is my recommendation. They can't get in without making quite a lot of noise, and I don't think they'll risk that for this. Not now, not yet.
All right.
Regardless of what the group wants, I want some time with it to play with it. Well, play with it.
Understood.
Nope. 49, 47.
Got it.
Quit, no.
He's
happening.
He said a lot. I'm most curious as to, like he said, they wouldn't risk. What was it? They wouldn't risk trying to get it back now. How much of that is true? Right? Is an assault possible? Does he believe an assault is possible? And then, okay, that's
50, 17.
Welcome back.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry.
18.
Okay. So, I mean, kind of the baseline of what he said that he thinks it's safest specifically in his palace, not necessarily with him, but in his stronghold. It reads truthfully, and also that he does seem to sincerely believe that although it's not necessarily an impossibility that they could get it, they wouldn't risk the effort needed to do so right now. Well, for the night, and he will kind of with a hand conjure a small inflamed sheet of paper and pass it over to Nimra. And on it, Nimra, you immediately recognize a teleportation sigil on it. Should you wish, this will be active for the night. And he will also do you have plane shift, Nimra?
No, they did not pick up plane shift.
He will pass over to you effectively exactly what you need to cast plane shift: a tuning fork and a spell scroll of plane shift. This is attuned to that circle and will get you to my palace. That circle will be active until the morning. If you wish to take me up on my offer, come spend the night and recuperate in the safest possible place for you, please do so, but I won't force it on you. Regardless, tomorrow, when you're feeling a bit more ship-shape, we can talk. There are things we must discuss. I'll leave you for now. And she will step back and open the door, and with a little bow, step out and close the door behind her, leaving you all together in Nimra's office again. Real fucking piece of work, that guy, huh?
I'm gonna punch him.
Shit! Thought we didn't like him. All right, whatever.
We don't, but we also don't like you.
Fuck.
This might very well kill me. He's not wrong. Oh.
About us being safe, or the core, or everything?
He definitely has plans for the core. I don't know what it is, but he's definitely playing an angle. No, he is right. The safest place for us is in his domain. They won't come for us. Not tonight. Not after the blow we just dealt him. Much like us, they will need time to recover and re-strategize. They do have the scrolls. And that is a problem. We are a hearty group. Heartier than one might suspect. But unfortunately, we are just the tip of this spear.
I thought you meant a different kind of... Never mind.
Melancholy, I swear to the gods, now is not the time for sex jokes.
Okay, yeah, fair point. All right. My bad. It was funny though, right? Sorry, okay, never mind.
It was good. It was just
Okay,
it was
cool.
gathering thoughts, and then you had to like.
I just gotta make sure I still got it. Sorry.
Now that's all I can't think about.
Me too. I know it's crazy. It's fine. Never mind. All right. I'm done. Kind of like crosses her leg on the couch. All right.
Above table, what time of day is it?
It is. It's dark out. Probably by the time you got there, it was still daylight because of the the time zone change from Marquette, but now, like by the time everybody had come in, by the time you started making your way back to your office, the sun had set. You could see through the domed ceiling of the reserve that it was dark out. It had like just gotten dark as you were making your way this way.
We are fighting an uphill battle. We are taking on not one, but 2 layers of hell. And our backup, let us call it our general, has openly admitted that he has failed us. I think now is the time. That we accept whatever help he's willing to provide. Did not think it was possible for him to feel. I think it was shame. That is weird. I do not understand it.
Certainly what it looked like.
Well, Haster's feelings aside, what about everybody else? I mean, that was a lot. Do we need to sound off and make sure, yeah, everybody's still here?
I appreciate the thought, Huxley. But let us be honest. None of us are okay after that.
I want to ask, any of you who consider yourselves as being particularly attentive in this moment, make a perception check, please.
21.
2015.
Oh, come on. You're so bad at this, baby. Alright, so all of you see a dim red glow as Melancholy dives behind the couch. Like, rambling and fumbling over. She's, oh, shit! Ow! I'm just taking a nap back here. Keep on your serious discussion.
Mel, come on.
Guys, it's like, I don't want to, like, alright. I just didn't want to pile on. Does this seem, well, okay, tell me if this freaks you out. And she puts her arms up, and there are red scars glowing a dim red all down her arms, and like they're sticking up behind the couch. Does this freak you out? If yes, I'm staying back here.
Do these red veins look familiar to the 3 of us? Does it look like ruidium poisoning?
So, it doesn't resemble the ruidian corruption that you experience with the ruidium objects in Onkrell. But Huxley, they seem remarkably familiar to the ones on Agatha when you saw her when she came to see you in the night. Although hers weren't glowing.
Aggie had those too.
And she's kind of like sticks her head up. Oh yeah, because she's Rudisborn, right?
Yeah, I didn't think. I mean, I saw her the other night, and I didn't think to ask it because I got distracted by activities. But
okay, all right. I guess I probably have to talk about stuff now. If we're feeling up for it. I wanted to wait till we felt better, but I can
Melancholy,
do that now.
just speak your piece. Please.
Sort of stands up, and you see they are running up her arms and a bit up under her chest as well. So, a couple years ago, when I was still doing this stuff, I sort of figured out that, I died. And then I came back like this, as in gray and big, and with these, which I didn't have before. And I knew I was Ruidus born already. But I didn't, I wasn't like this. I never had these. But I did then, and I remember when it happened, the night that it happened. I was with some people, and there were several of us. We were down, like deep down underground, and by the time we came back up, I came back up to see that lovely red moon, bright and earnest in the night sky. And something tells me that if we go back out and look outside, such will be the case. Not that long after that, I kept on with the people I was with, and I lost somebody pretty important to me, and that's what the bottle was. I kind of spent a couple years trying to figure myself out, and well, at the end of that, to make the story short, I had that bottle so that I wouldn't let that happen again, and I had that necklace, the choker, the crystals in it. That's why I didn't look like this. Pretty decently powerful magic that kept me as I was, because originally I intended to go back to my sister and to my parents and to sort of sort my shit out, and I didn't want them to see me like this, and then I didn't, but I still had it, and I didn't want to get rid of it because I wanted to stay how I was, pretty and pink and small and as it were. But using the pop in the bottle, that was the price. So back to me. This is what I can do comes from this. As far as I can tell, what I can do now like this is because of the moon. I don't know why. I didn't really want to know why. So after all that happened, I sort of just vacated it. Didn't think about it.
You said this happened, you looked like this after you died? You came back and then you looked like this.
Yeah.
How were you brought back? Is that what happened? Why was this not there when you were born?
Are you asking about the scars or about the rest?
Everything.
I don't know about the scars. Or about... Really, I don't know. But... Well, suffice to say, the people I was rolling with weren't... well, they made a bit of a rash decision. And the person who brought me back wasn't really the most... Oh, their hands weren't very clean. And I came back like this. By whatever means they saw fit to bring me back. Killed them, though. So... Got them back for that. It's not so bad. I can, like, carry stuff now. Sorry, this isn't about me, but
No, it
was sudden, so I didn't
very-
want to freak you guys out.
very much is about you, Mel. And about Felix, and about my children, about Aggie, and Celiana's
Yeah.
sister. It is very much about all of you.
I didn't have answers. I still don't know what this is about. So,
Do you,
the scars, I mean.
Melancholy, do you need answers? Is that what is most important?
I don't know.
Because you are a beautiful person with a beautiful soul. The aesthetic does not matter. If this is eating you up inside,
My shit is not important right now. There's
but it
There's
is
other shit that it's not. It's really not.
Melancholy. Huxley just told us that Aggie is suffering from this same thing. But we have no way to talk to her about that. You are here with us. If we find the answers, we better understand what those that have been taken are feeling, how they are suffering. The issue being that if we go on this path, if we find out what happened to you and we get this information, that is time spent not doing other things.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
I don't, and Rick will stop and look at the rest of the group. I don't mean to be callous about this. But I said it before and I will repeat myself. We are in a war against multiple armies we do not understand. We have to be tactical. When do we say yes? What information do we pursue? And what are we okay not knowing?
For what it's worth, I get it, but at least on my part, I wouldn't know where to start. So, especially if we're concerned about time, which I think we should be, considering the escalation we just saw. I'm not saying we shouldn't, because I get that knowing what this is could be useful, but unless we can get a lead to answers, I don't know if we have time to waffle around looking for them, at least right now. But, I mean, I'll follow your lead, but especially not for my sake, but just in general, I might not be the place to start with this. I don't know where the people I was with are anymore. I don't know. I mean, the guy who killed me is dead, as far as I know. I don't know where else to go for a lead, for answers. I don't. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Think
I
on
don't
it.
have anything solid. Yeah, I mean,
We do
I'll mull it over.
have an invitation for a safe place to rest.
Yeah.
Granted, it has been extended by an entity who sort of strong-armed me into a contract.
I like him. He seems nice.
But I also do believe that he may have answers for us. We're going to have to push him to speculate, and we know how much he does not like doing that. But we can't be cut off again. He knew about this Aormaton. That is clear. But we did not. And we walked headlong into a situation that got one of us killed. And very much could have gotten more of us killed. He wants to have a conversation. I'm happy to do so. But the 5 of you, the 6 of you, as he points to the imp, need to be aware that I am going to push. And he is going to push back. Sometimes you have to call the boss on his shit. And I intend to do just that.
Do we want to do this? Do we want to go spend the night there?
If for no other reason than he's giving us free reign to poke around this place.
I wouldn't assume that, but
Well,
I'm gonna be in my room if we go there. I'm not wandering the hotel.
very well. That is your choice. Huxley.
Honestly, I was more worried about you being uncomfortable going there. I am not the best judge of what is a good idea or a bad idea in the situation, but I do think that if I'm accidentally going to blow something up, poking at this thing, I would rather blow a pastor's palace than an inn somewhere. He probably has better cleaners and insurance and whatnot. I'm not sure I'll get much sleep, but I don't mind going into unfamiliar territory for the night.
Celiana.
You may have to keep me from venturing a couple layers down, but I'm willing to go. I know we have a lot of information we just got yesterday, and maybe I'm just a little dumb and naive and I don't understand how things connect, and you all know and you've got it all figured out. I don't know. I need help. So having a location that feels safer is maybe the place to do it.
If you're going to venture further into the hills, please just leave me a note so I can follow. Archivist?
I don't feel... I had very few safe places to call home. I did not feel safe in Amon. I thought it would be safer here, where I've been spending most of my time. Most of the people that I worked with are dead. Gone. Potentially forever. I do not feel safe here anymore. I cannot leave immediately, though. I still have work to do. But I would prefer a safe place to sleep.
What do you say, kiddo? You want to go sneak around Hastor's palace?
Yeah. Where you all go, I go. Could be fun seeing what we find.
Very well. Then Nimra, do what needs to be done. We are here to support you in whatever you require. Even if that just means I stand outside your door and make sure nobody bothers. And when you are ready, we will accept an archdevil's invitation to sleep over at his place. Oh, this could be fun. A devilish sleepover? You think there will be like pillow fights and...
There's definitely gonna be some pillow fighting. Okay. If there, listen, actually no, now's not the time.
Come on, Mel. Rick will put his arm around Melancholy. Let us let the archivist do their work.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to go smoke in the library? Come on, this is like the only chance. Like, nobody's going to kick us out. They have bigger issues.
Don't we have to leave?
What?
Aren't we going now?
No. The archivist says they have work to do. We are not going immediately.
Fuck it, yeah. You want to join?
Oh, you are too good to me.
Sweet. All right. Big little tin. I'll hand you one. I guess. Ring us. It's just on our way out. So, do you have like a light though? I can't do fire anymore.
You can't do fire anymore.
I don't know. I work different now. That's a long story. We can talk about it later.
Great. Yeah, I like to think Rick has a lighter.
Okay, cool.
Notches or something. Yeah, he's
just
a smoker.
Obnoxiously light up and smoke fucking just stink up the fucking hallways on their way back out.
For them.
Yeah.
Gwen can't.
You'll probably get a look if you go to the library. At which point she'll be like, "This is not the time," and she'll turn around. She'll stay in the hallways.
Okay.
But anytime if anybody gives her a look there, she'll be like, "What? I'm stressed out." The rest of you, I suppose I'll start with Nimra. Nimra, what are you doing?
From the way that conversation ended, it sounded like they would have to stay behind to speak with the curator Udrol and the expositor Adria about something. Mm-hmm. So they're waiting like a guillotine over their head, essentially, for that conversation.
Are you gonna wait in your office, or go out to find them?
In my heart of hearts, Nimra would typically wait in their office, though at this point I think they're high stress, high strung, kind of not in the correct headspace, and just wants to get everything over with. So I think they would probably go out to seek this conversation, just be done with it, so they can leave and go be safe.
All right. So in that case, I'll briefly touch in with Mal Huxley and Celiana, because it's going to be about an hour and a half until Udrol actually arrives and Nimra gets the chance to have that conversation. So in that time, what are you three doing? If anything, of course.
I think Celiana is not letting Nimra out of her sight.
Real.
Yeah. I think she's just following along. Maybe staying back if it seems like there's conversations happening that
Right. Just insight.
she doesn't need to be a part of, but yeah.
Okay.
I think Huxley would do what Huxley does when he's stressed, is dump out his bag with all of his blueprints and gadgets and doodads and set up a little corner in Nimra's office, probably on the back of their door, because I imagine that maybe, or the front, whatever has space left. And
not on the cinders in the center?
Oh, look, you don't need to be carrying ash around, too. It's wherever there's some space just to spend that time decompressing and thinking about something that's not the hells and everything, and just make a mess of things.
Okay. No.
Mal is gonna very carefully shove the pile of papers over on the couch. So there's just a little space that they can curl up in. Bring their knees up into their chest and just sit and process and watch Huxley work.
Okay. And yes, after about an hour and change, Rick, where you and Melancholy are in the hall, you will see a collection of people kind of move past, walk by. I think this might be the one time someone else sees him. Nimra, what's Nimra's pops look like?
Nimra is kind of a carbon copy of their dad. So the two of them both have, his features are a little bit softer, just a little bit kinder looking. He looks a little bit more approachable like their sister Kariash does. And he's maybe about an inch or two shorter than Nimra, the tallest in their family. He is starting to show out some signs of age in a way that their mother didn't. And he's fully in robes that indicate that he doesn't do much. They're pretty nice. Not really somebody that does anything other than paperwork travel.
Yes, Rick, you and Melancholy, where you're at, you'll see him kind of march by with a cadre of maybe 15 more people. Also various, some in armors like Nimra's mother, some in robes, some in sort of tight, more monkish type outfits, tighter fitting, more easily maneuverable type clothes. All in the colors of the Cobalt Souls, kind of march through. And again, at the end of the hall where it opens up to the library, you can see them disperse. And some stay back and start dispersing to the halls and start getting to work. And similarly to your mother when she arrived, he doesn't kind of waste any time. He has a little bit of back and forth with some people, but sort of finds you with and gathers your mother, and when he gets the chance, just sort of a clear sort of breath caught in his throat for a moment, and just then stops and sighs and collects himself and just your mother told me you weren't all right recently. I'm relieved to see you. Seeing the state this place is in. Getting more of a understanding of what's happened. I knew you were on sabbatical, out doing your thing, but when I got word, you can imagine, I was worried something had happened. Is there anything we can do for you? We'll do what we can here. It won't be just us helping put this place back together, but what about you?
So this is what it takes. I die and brought back to life. We haven't spoken in 70 years. Let's keep this professional. Archivist usual. Oh, excuse me, curator, usual.
He kind of tenses up a bit and sort of like clearly mulls over what to say, what to do. And your mother kind of puts her hand on his back for a second, and he sort of like turns slightly away without fully turning his back or anything. And she speaks now and just, we weren't aware you'd died. You were gone. The concern isn't because you died. We didn't. You were in danger. We didn't think you'd ever be in danger in a place like this.
I would have been less in danger if I'd still been working in the Amon archives. But that is neither here nor there.
You see, Usual again kind of turns back just a bit and just. There were reasons for. So straightens himself out. Doesn't matter now. We'll be present on site, staying in Western for some time as more come in from. As I mentioned, there are more coming from Rexintrum and from Zadash and elsewhere. It's going to be a sort of mass effort here for a time. And there's a real, in head to toe, his body language is in pain. And just, I will be back and forth here in Mon, but your mother will be on station here for a time.
Good.
I don't.
If there's one thing I can trust you to do, it is your job. I'm grateful that we will be getting service, help, hopefully rebolstering our forces.
He just kind of clenches his jaw and turns and just immediately walks away. And you see, like, your mother kind of like reaches for him, like to keep him there, and just sort of lets him go, and just. He deserved that, but well. And she kind of holds and just looks at you a minute and just. You've done a lot. A lot more than you ever would have under his thumb. I know. But for what it's worth, there's pride you can carry in that. And she sort of, she goes to turn, she just. I'll be here for likely several weeks. If you're ever back, I don't know what you're doing or how long you'll be gone, but if and when you come back, I'll keep my distance. But Should you need something? We haven't spoken, but a day hasn't gone by. I haven't checked for letters. She'll sort of just nod and step away and follow after your father, who was moving towards people to look like he was going to talk, and just sort of diverted and is just kind of on his own, standing off to the side, just kind of sitting there, hands in pockets, head bowed, and she goes to him and but you can read in her body language as well. There is an annoyed pat on his back, and she leaves him there to go help other people.
If Seal is anywhere within the vicinity at that point, they will turn to her. Forgive me. I was under the impression that this would be Soul's business. We needn't stay much longer. I'm sure we can head back.
All right.
Okay. So, with that in mind, am I safe to assume you'll be casting this in your office? I gotta check.
Nimmer
I
just
also
sits
feel like
down,
Nimmer would just be like, let's just fucking go, wherever.
Whose office can we destroy, though? Is there anybody that you don't like that you want us to ash up a little bit?
He's dead, and fuck his office.
Yeah.
No, I think they would want to get the fuck away from just wherever their parents could see them, and would immediately just hope that Seal is following and go back to the office.
Okay. As you storm by, oh shit. Alright, we're good. Alright, come on, we're going. We're going. Come on. Oh, I was too fast. She'll follow after.
When you enter, Huxley's still behind the door, and it's just slam into Huxley as you enter.
Poor guy.
Rick just inherently goes over to lay on hands, and then realizes he just doesn't have the energy to fix the problem.
Oh no, it's fine. It's just my glasses. I think I can fix those. I can't fix noses. I can fix glasses though. It's okay.
Just snap Huxley's nose back into place. It'll actually. Does Rick have any energy left? I don't think he does.
No, it's okay. I've got the little left. I'll peel myself off the couch and boop him on the nose.
Oh! Don't, thank you. Start taking down my blueprints so we can leave.
As you're all together and gathering your things, then where you can clear the ashy space in the center of your office, lay down the circle and prepare the spell, prepare the scroll, and you all link hands as you must for the spell. And as you cast it, you can feel that familiar feeling you felt when you were taken from Drusar, this sort of physical, almost lurching through space, this motion pulling you for just a moment. As you come forward, come to in the center of the office you'd visited prior. The large, big back window overlooking this half-ruined city and this barren landscape and this desk and this whole space. And as you come through, you just immediately... Ah! The receptionist that you first met when you first came here just... He didn't tell me there were people coming. Hello, good evening.
Yes, we didn't necessarily have an appointment.
It's okay. Yes, very funny. All right, I'm going to go find him and just go off. And
as she wanders off, just a little too loud, Rick goes, "I'm surprised she's still here."
You
Oh,
can
poor girl.
perceive a slip in her gait as she just
Oh.
keeps going. And
Poor girl.
it's only a few minutes before he just kind of appears in front of his desk and just there in his normal form as he is, sort of clasps his hands together and looks at you and just, good to see you've taken up my offer, my little hell races. Let's get you rested up.
Rick's grip on
That's
his
what I'm gonna
spear tightens. Just white knuckles. Oh, I hate this fucker.
And that's where we'll go to break, and we will be right back. Okay. So, Welcome back. I'm proud of myself. I actually remembered to call the break to the camera. Welcome back from the break to the camera. Now all I need to do is stop us from talking for 15 minutes at the end before we say goodbye. I can do this.
Hey, how's your back feeling?
Not
That
great,
was just
to
a
be
lot
honest.
of padding. I just want to make sure that you're not like sore. Or anything.
I have severe back problems, okay? I'm allowed to do that on occasion. I have the body of an 80-year-old woman, except I'm hot as hell still. So,
Real
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
for that, Ruby.
don't
Confirm
forget
in the
this.
comments.
So don't do that. Actually, I'd rather die. I'm gonna
cheers to
I'm
those of
gonna
us
keep
who are
moving.
choosing.
So you arrive here, as is. He presents himself to you. Happy to see you. Backing up.
Insight check. Is he happy to see us?
If you wanted to, roll it.
Why'd I waste that? God damn it. I
Like a
needed
natural
that.
20?
I needed that elsewhere. Total of 22.
Yeah. It's a mixture of surprise and a tinge of relief more than joy at seeing you.
Rick loosens his
arrive.
grip on his spear just a little bit.
And hands together, a little bow of his head. Now, I won't keep you. If you'd like, I can take you to your quarters, or point you where you're free to roam, if you'd like, for the time being. Though I imagine you're all quite exhausted. So, to be thorough, and he sort of like just kind of steps down into where you're at. So if you recall, you were teleported in here before, so you've never actually stepped back from here. Walks past you, and just kind of behind you, there's just a big open archway that leads out of this office and into long hallway in either direction, left and right. You see it just goes on for ages and ages. There are occasional doorways that you can see and occasional openings, little archways. And at the end, on either side, you can see what looks like an Art Deco elevator on either end, like all real fancy, little ornate, and the little like needle that points to the floor. And he kind of gestures down a bit, straight down that way, all the way at the end. There are rooms laid out for each of you. They'll have your name in a plaque on the door. Of course, should you prefer to sleep in pairs or all together, they will accommodate. As long as you enter together, they'll mold themselves to your desires. That said, I'm glad to see you've taken me up on my offer. You'll be good here. I'll keep watch, and I'll have plenty of protection with eyes and ears out. Should you need anything, think my name, and I will be there. But, in the interest of your privacy, your rooms are warded. So, there will be no intrusion to your thoughts unless you allow me in that way. And he does he actually? Yeah. He he can once over you guys and just he looks to Nimra and seems to go to speak and just catches himself and doesn't, and then just sort of stepping back into his office. I'll be here working, should you rather come to me. But you're free. If there's a place you're not allowed to go, the door won't open. So if you're curious, feel free to wonder. And he'll just make his way back to his desk and just sort of tend to things there. He's got like papers laid out on it, but like very neatly, a little stacked. And he just kind of like starts thumbing through them, and like just like a ledger on the table that he's like flipping through and like organizing, like just into paperwork now.
Okay. How are we feeling? I have
About the same.
Yeah. I have no problem admitting sleeping alone does not feel good. But I understand if you all need space and time.
I'm still pretty high, so like I don't know how reliable I'll be. But I can actually
Well,
I can wake up.
I will tell you this. As is my nature, I will be in the hallway if you need anything.
You can't sleep in the hallway. When else are you gonna get to sleep in devil bed? It's probably like so comfortable because it's like, it wants to lull you into sin. It's probably like so soft. She's like popped the bottle, by the way. She has like a bottle of some shit in her hand. It's like a huge one too. Like it's not safe.
Rick just raises an eyebrow and gives a little bit of a smirk and goes, "Yeah, I don't think there will be much lulling for me this evening."
But at least you can be tormented by your thoughts in comfort.
Oh, well, isn't that a thought?
Yeah. The purring. It's so cute.
I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna mute myself.
Don't leave it.
Sorry?
It's great.
I can hear this so bad. You have no
No,
idea.
she's such a good girl.
Just then, a giant liger comes running.
It's not a liger. You got a displacer beast.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Displacer Beast. You're right.
Yeah.
Look how long she is. She's very long and terrifying. She's a good girl.
She's so scary.
Little baby.
Um,
Rick is going to wander back towards Haster's office. Is there like a door, or it's pretty open to us, right?
yeah, it's an open archway. You guys are still. Yeah, he like led you into the hallway, but you're like, you step to the right, you'll be back in his office. It's just a big open entryway.
Great. So Rick will still do the thing, right? Knock on the archway just to announce his presence. Walks right past the receptionist, just not.
Oh yeah, so just for clarity to how it's visualized, she's not here. When they first came here, went into the reception room, they were then bamfed into here.
Oh,
so there's
got
no
it.
actual direct connection to the. She like went off. She hasn't been back since you ran into her.
I understand. Okay, all right. Rick will knock on just to announce himself, although he's sure that Haster's aware he's there.
Right.
Well, that was quite a day.
That it was. He kind of sets down what he's doing, gets the quill aside, and just kind of to default pose. Fingers together.
Default pose.
Do you need something?
I need many things, but this evening, just one. And
What
Rick
is
will
it?
reach onto his left hand and remove from it a platinum ring. I need another one of these.
You pulled. Your sound just cut when you said what ring it was. What was it?
It's a ring. It's a platinum ring that he keeps.
Oh,
on
just
his,
a,
on
okay,
his
got
hand.
it.
Yeah.
Just a ring.
Tonight, just the ring. Tomorrow, perhaps more.
Made of anything in particular?
Platinum.
Without a doubt. And he will kind of like his eyes scan his office for a second, and he just and a drawer on the far side opens, and he just lifts a little like smattering of jewelry and they all drop back in until just a platinum ring is left. And he waves it over and like floats it right into your palm.
Great. I go pick it out of the air. Thank you. This hopefully will help us avoid today's events in the future. And Rick will turn on his heels and start to leave. And just before he like breaches the archway, doorway, whatever, he'll stop and turn around and go and say, "Thank you. You admitted your mistake, and that means a lot. The whole infallible thing, the posturing, it's good, and it's effective in a boardroom. But I'm sure you know by now we are not in a boardroom. We are at war. And you and I will have words tomorrow. But tonight I rest. Have a lovely
What can I
evening,
say?
Astor.
I'm full of surprises. Sleep
Let's
well.
Let's hope not too many." And Rick will head back down the hallway.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the rest of you, where you are, still in the hallway just outside Hutch's office, what are you doing?
I mean, are we sleeping together? I don't think I'm going to sleep unless I pass out, which is it's going to probably happen, but I don't want to keep anyone else up if you do actually want to sleep.
Melancholy just holds up like the bottle. I have means of inducing unconsciousness.
Is that a threat?
It's a promise.
He takes one step away.
Relax. I'm not a home wrecker, okay? Take it easy.
That sounds so much more threatening with the new melancholy.
Yeah, because she's like towering over him and like half flexing when she holds the bottle up unintentionally. Like she's like,
This is like getting hazed at a college party.
Almost.
I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep either.
Well,
do we want to like slumber party until we're all super tired? You know, just kind of like wind down, like pillow fight, boom, bah, or something. We don't have to do that. That sounds awful, actually. But like,
actually, fighting sounds nice. I'm going to see if Hasthor has a sparring room around. Maybe I'll blow off some steam.
we can go explore.
Rick's gonna just start like
Wander off.
hugging on doors until something opens.
Hey, for your case, make it just make an investigation check, just so you get an idea of what you find and how long it takes you.
See, shouldn't have wasted that other roll on an insight. Oh no, that's intimidation, not investigation. I was like, that's not the bonus I should be using. It's a total of 8.
Nice.
Got it. I'll circle back to that.
Okay.
Stop being pretty. I know what Nimra's doing, but I want to see if Seal is doing anything first.
She... I definitely have some questions for Hastur, and I would like to talk to him. But my main course of action tonight is watching over you, Nimra.
Don't let me stop you from asking your questions. I feel a bit suffocated right now, and I would like some alone time to process today's events. Do not let me stop you.
If you need me, let me know.
And Nimra, for the first time, will give you a response and nod. They're just gonna sit outside of the hallway. No book, nothing, just sit.
Like just sit on the floor.
Sit on the floor right outside of the door.
Gotcha.
Do you want to keep me company, Mal, while I work, or do you want to go exploring?
No, I'll keep you company. I'm not really in the mood to venture out.
All right then. You can stop any fires I might start.
I'm pretty good at that at this point.
And Huxley's going to find his room, I guess, and he's not going to sleep until he inevitably passes out. But he's going to spend some time tinkering with the core and the bits and things, and like trying to figure out how stuff works.
Okay. We'll head on down. Seal. Are you gonna approach Aster now?
Yeah, she'll go
Okay.
to him.
Or just the like look of acknowledgement. He looks up at you and just sort of waits for you to begin.
The sightless. They wanted those scrolls. What is the sightless? What do you know specifically?
The sightless. That is not a name I've heard in a while. Is that a... Seal, roll me a D100.
Okay.
It's the number of facts you're gonna get. Ruby's got a list of like 100 facts about the sightless.
Yep.
70.
Okay. And you see he kind of stops and thinks, and his mind kind of like lingers, and his face is just twisted in that thought. And he says this in a tone and with an expression and with body language that conveys genuine and unexpected surprise. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to. I'll get on. I'll look into it. And he sort of like makes a note of something. He just pulls like some paper over and makes a note of it and like kind of as he releases the quill, it'll keep writing, and he just kind of stops and looks back to you and just, I'll look into it. I'll let you know what I find. But for now, I don't know. I'm sorry.
question for the DM, since I
Yes.
don't have the memory for this. In the past, whenever we were communicating with Haster through the book about him coming to find us, did he just know where we were, or did he always have to ask us where we are?
He would ask. Yeah. Like,
Okay.
generally, if it wasn't just stated automatically, I guess I'll say, because I also don't remember the exact wording I used every time, I would say at this point, it's happened enough times that you could notice a pattern. So go ahead and give me an insight check.
I do want to say above table,
Uh-oh.
Falkwood
Rose.
is rolling that. Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
2 hours,
Mark
28
it.
minutes, 15 seconds.
Got it.
Putting that in production. Yep. 2 hours.
There we go. Oh, there you go. You're back. Okay, that was a quick one.
Sorry, I don't know what that was.
It's okay.
is at
Just an insight check.
Okay.
Okay. Mac, you were saying?
when.
No, just noting the freeze.
Yeah, noting that first. I remember with Nimra's date, Haster didn't know, and Nimra did have to specify which location.
Yeah.
Because I remember you
Right.
didn't remember at that point.
Yeah,
and
I
we
didn't
had to
remember you said
clarify.
it. And that's right. Yeah.
Haster has asked every single time where we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rick
Okay.
has made a point of that.
Then I'll say, well, yeah, fair. In that case, you might have noticed, because I know for sure that there were plenty of times where I just sort of described it happening, especially when we went back and forth multiple times in quick succession. But what'd you get on the roll?
Insight, that would be
Mm-hmm.
17.
Yeah. You'd notice that most of the time he'll ask, sometimes he won't. Which is, with what he
Sorry, my
said,
voice
it's
is
not
going
it's not a stretch to assume that he probably scries on you more often than just the time he just was. And I would say it's not a stretch between Nimra's familiarity of it and any discussions you might have had. You know that you need familiarity with a place to teleport to it. And so that in mind, not a big extrapolation to say if he's scrying on you and he knows where you are, he doesn't need it. If he doesn't know where you are, he needs to ask. Or if he's not already watching, he needs to ask to be sure.
Okay, cool. Mostly I was wondering because I only noticed it when we were in the Cobalt Soul, so I wanted to see if that
Right.
was something blocking or whatever.
Yeah.
But I won't ask him about that if it's not a thing.
Right.
Yeah. I think I no longer have a prepared list of questions, so yes, I will just ask for a fireplace.
You'll look for a fireplace?
Or ask
Okay.
him to point me to one.
Okay, yeah, no, there's one in the in this space. Kind of sets the ambiance, right? It's just on one side of the whole office. Though if you want one, I suppose a private one, you could ask him for that, and he could if that's your intention, he could explain that. If essentially, when you go to your room, you'll find it shapes itself to what you require and desire. So, if you'd like some time by the fire that isn't under my watchful eye, feel free to go to your room. But I didn't mind the company if you'd like to stick around.
Don't worry, he'll get that.
Yeah, I'll go to a room and get like a more private
Okay.
situation and just like set myself up, get comfortable next to the fire.
Okay. And that as you've all made your way out, you see Mel's just kind of like sat back, like out of the way. As each of you started, oh gosh, I'm getting sick. As each of you started
No.
filing out, that's rough. As each of you started filing out, she kind of like watches people like watch Rick go in and out, watch Steele go in and out, watch Nimmer sit down, and Mal and Huxley leave, and just kind of. She goes to say something and then doesn't, and just sort of like kicks the floor and will follow after the others, just eventually making her way to her own room and piling in there. And now, briefly, before I bounce around a little bit still, each of you, as you go to your rooms, I suppose, so in this case, just briefly, Seal, when you enter your room, describe Celiana's ideal sort of hotel stay in this moment. And Mal and Huxley, on your part as well, you can almost imagine the room is split in two, like down the middle. Each of you get a half that is idealized to what you want and or need in this moment. I'll just go one at a time. We'll start with Mal and Huxley since y'all went over there first. What does your room look like when you enter in? How do your thoughts and needs and desires in this moment manifest in this room? In terms of an abode, a homey space for you to spend the night.
I think that Huxley would feel most at home at his home, and he had to sell his storefront to kind of fund his expedition, so it's technically no longer home. But I imagine it's just sort of like this corner that looks almost closely identical to the sad little storefront apartment situation that they were living in. And it's maybe kind of a mishmash of a couple layers where there's a cat bed over in the corner. Maybe a little cat tree where his cat would like hang out and, watch him work. And then like a long big desk space, which is kind of what probably takes up the vast majority of the room, just like really old and very obviously like handmade and well used, probably passed down through several generations type thing. And not really a bed, but just sort of a long sofa over in the corner that has like his pillow. Like that's his old gross pillow that stays there, and it's also covered in cat hair. It's not nice by any means, but it is very homey and just like comfortable and where he feels safe and nice in.
Mel?
I think it's closer to the little apartment that she and Felix ended up in Ankara than it is to her childhood home back in Nikojana's. There's still touches of it. Nikojanian silk striped across the ceiling and over the bedspread, but the walls are the sandy colored plaster, mostly unfurnished, sort of the way it looked right after they'd arrived together, thinking that would be where they would stay for a while. There's all of the extra pillows on Felix's side, even though he's not there. and the thin sheet on Mal's, so they don't overheat at night. But it's what Mal would have been sharing with Felix all along. Somewhere safe for the two of them.
Hello. Hi. Ruby editing here. Surprise. Just a quick little interjection. During this little bit where Gwen, explains Seal's room to us and details it to us, something went wrong on our end of the recording, and it recorded her fine. We didn't lose it. But on our end, everybody but her, she froze. So we started talking over her and interrupting her, etc. And then we went back and made her repeat it, but she forgot parts of it, etc. So like, to make sure we got her full intended vision here, I'm simply going to mute the rest of us, allow her to speak her piece, and then cut out the bit where we got confused about it. Just giving you this explanation now, so you know what happened. Thank you. Proceed, I say to myself. Seal, what about yours?
Similarly, I think the room is small, and the layout feels reminiscent of the tiny little apartment room that she was finally able to convince her parents to allow her to stay at, and not at their house. So it's very small. It has the basics that you need, apart from the main difference is the fireplace. So in layout, it feels like her own place, her initial bout of freedom, small as it may be. But the furnishings in style are reminiscent of her family home, and the pieces that they would have, instead of the cheapest bits that a young adult can afford.
All right, so then, since Max said we want to wait till everyone's done, we'll continue with Rick. As you wander these halls, you eventually do note the others kind of go and duck into their rooms, Seal on her own, and Mal and Huxley together, and then Melancholy on her own. You wonder for a little while. This would probably be happening. You'd eventually go out of sight of Nimra, but you'd be at this for a little while. Sort of wondering, some doors won't open, some do, some hallways extend. You find open spaces, but sticking to this, do you stick to this floor, or do you peruse through the elevator as well? Like, are you willing, or I guess I should say, are you willing to traverse the floors, and how long are you willing to do this until you just kind of say, I should go to bed, or something?
God, Brick really wants to explore, but now is not the time, right? His team is in disarray. So I think he'll check this floor, never too far from the rooms. But if nothing pops up, then he will go back to their hallway.
Okay, got it. So as you go a bit, just as you're out of sight of Nimra, you go down a bit, just reaching the edge of how far you're willing to go. And you hear something. You hear a voice in your mind. And you hear a deep, almost just exasperated inhale and an exhale. So many years. It's almost like being back home. And yeah, there's a pause, and take me and let me see. And there is a pull, almost like you feel it, to your spear.
Mm-hmm.
You get the sense that it is asking you to wield it.
Yep. I was wondering when you'd show up.
And do you like pull it out? Do you take it in your hand?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, Rick generally is carrying the spear in his hands most of the time. So yes, if it's
Got
on
it.
his back, he definitely pulls it out and holds it in his hand. Definitely looking at it. You know, I was wondering when you'd show up.
And there's another in and out. To taste the air of the hells again.
It's nice, ain't it?
And there's a pause at length. So many things to kill here.
Patience, brother. Patience. It'll come. I promise you. Your thirst will be quenched.
Are we brothers? You
Probably.
and I, children of the ruin, are all the same.
No. No, I imagine you're a little bit older than I am.
What is your name? Who wields ruin's wake? Who brings Yarrowish's ruin and destruction upon his enemies?
In time. In time.
I am not a creature of patience.
Nor is our father. And yet he's waited a long time for this. So you too can wait. But I assure you, you and I are going to have a whole lot of fun when the time
Make a
comes.
wisdom save, Rick. And this is the name I said in that fucked up ass voice, by the way.
Yes. I've been
Just to
waiting
make
a
sure.
long time for this guy to show up. 22.
And you hear it just... a worthy wielder. And you see... You look to your spear. This long shaft of bone, the massive spearhead in the end, similar to your necklace. The runes carved in it and the grips, the runes alight, and down the shaft more begin to carve, and the broken, chipped edges of this bone fill anew, and Ruin's wake is now awakened.
No shit.
So I will make sure to add the right one to your sheet,
All
but
right.
it comes into this new state. You get its new features, and you feel this presence within. do not disappoint me.
Ditto.
And in that, it goes quiet. And as you said, I presume you do, unlucky and not really able to find what you're looking for here, decide to return to your room. And just before we come back to Nimra, what does Rick's room look like when he steps into it?
Fair enough. Rick, as is been established, does not sleep in a room. He sleeps in the hallway. He always sleeps in the hallway. But if we were to open the door and see what Rick's room looks like, it is a soldier's tent, and not a commander, not a place with a table. It's not big. It is probably no more than 5 feet in length, probably more. Rick being 8 feet tall, his feet would like plunge out of the bottom. And it is simple: a piece of canvas draped over a single string strung between 2 large tree trunks. Inside, a simple bedroll on top of hard dirt, and painted on the side of one of the canvases in a sort of dark crimson colored paint. But anybody who's familiar with Hemocraft and blood would recognize this as in fact blood that stains the side of his tent, is a large eye drawn. That's his safe space. That's his place. But he kind of opens it and sees it. Sort of a deep breath. The sigh of an old, grizzled war veteran returning to a place he has long since left. And he closes the door and walks over and sits down in front of the door, now labeled Huxley and Mal. Takes his spear, places it across his legs as he sits cross-legged. Closes his eyes with one final deep breath, and in Undercommon utters to himself, "Soon, darling. I'll be there soon." And he's just gonna wait until sleep takes him.
Okay. Nimra. As you rise and all the others out of sight, enter Haster's office. After a moment, he sits aside his things and sort of looks up at you, but he does not take his sort of like waiting stance. He just kind of sort of one hand over the other on his desk, just kind of looks to you, waiting.
Thank you. We didn't get to speak much after my passing. I almost did not wish to come back. I have a great set of companions who care very much for someone they met very, very shortly ago. And to you, had you not intervened, well, we might not be talking. Thank you, Haster.
Yeah. Like, you see, when you say that you almost didn't want to come back, you see he kind of like, he sort of like laughs, or like not laughs, closer to a scoff, really, and adjusts himself a bit, just. would you have rather stayed gone? I must say that is surprising to hear. You seem so committed to your work, enthused as you, well, I suppose I had assumed, but up until this point are really only now coming into the chance to explore that which you've longed to do for so many years now in full for the first time. If you'll permit a curiosity, what would make you want to stay gone?
It was a sense of peace I hadn't felt in many years. But of course, you are correct. I have work to be done. I have people to help save. There is much on my plate. But for a second, for a scant few seconds, there was nothing. No worries. No stress. No time limit. Though I'll admit I didn't feel much myself. And that felt nice for a bit. But you're correct, we have much to do. I just wanted to thank you for writing me back where I needed to be.
He kind of pushes out and he stands. By the sheer length of the desk, it's faster for him to fly himself over it than walk around. And he just comes over and sort of stops in front of you. He doesn't get too close, so there's still a couple feet between you, but he just sort of... where you needed to be. Did you need to be there for you?
Outside of my research, I don't believe I've been thinking too much of myself. I should.
He sort of he's like not looking, but he like sort of waves a hand, and another drawer opens, and you can see like a couple things kind of come out and drop back down, like when he pulled the ring, and a separate a little band, like a little bracelet, sort of like floats over to him, and he just takes it in his hand. May I? And he'll sort of like hold out a hand for yours.
Nimra being at, I think, probably the most emotional they have been in just a really long time, just sticks their hand out. Palm up.
And he will, with one hand on your palm, the other will manipulate the little bracelet and it'll open and set itself around you. And you will feel yourself rejuvenated. Almost. Like, pumped back. I won't say to full capacity, right? But the effect it has on your body is quite significant. You regain 50 HP.
That is full.
Oh, okay, never mind then. Then you're full. And
Quite literally exactly
Sort of.
what I needed for full.
that's funny. So you feel yourself sort of like this weight come off you for just a moment as your body sort of like laces wounds together and kind of props itself up. And he just like when he sort of gauges it's finished, he turns and he looks out the window. I know you're tired, but would you like to go for a ride?
This was not how I planned the evening.
I won't
I-
impose.
Initially, wanted to thank you and sit in your office in silence. But I do feel better. More myself than I have in a long, long time. And they extend their hand out again. This time with their hand requesting Haster to hold it.
almost like he can't help himself. Like he raises his eyebrow at it and just but like allows it, and he will set a multi-ringed finger into their hand, or multi-ringed hand into their hand. I must say, I don't think you know where the garage is, so if you're planning to lead me there, we might get lost.
Yes, it would probably be best for you to lead. Above table.
Mm-hmm.
It would be fun for them to try.
It would.
It would be fun.
Up to you. Do you want to?
No, Nimra wouldn't.
Okay.
That's not something that would be on their mind.
All right. And then he'll take your other hand and just hold on. You're gone. And in an instant, into a different part of the same space. And it's this fucking awful, douchey, gaudy fucking like 200-foot long garage with like 30 infernal engines lined on each side, just stacked back to back to back. All of them,
right.
all different kinds and shapes and designs and looks of ridiculous Mad Max car. These fucking insane spiked weaponized fucking tanks all the way down to a fucking like a blood red spike wheeled fucking like Bugatti Veyron equivalent, right? Just every level of vehicle from competition to leisure, you know, all run down through this thing. And he will like he kind of where you come in is just near the front of it. And he sort of waves a hand, and these two massive doors, these panels, just kind of in like sections up and open the way. And you can see it just goes out. And it's this like main avenue, like 100 feet across, this giant main road down the center of this city in which this palace is built that goes out into the wastelands beyond it. And he sort of like he takes you over to this car just off the side, and it's like I said, this is like it's a sleek sports car made of infernal steel and like just like I mean there's no other way to describe it really. It is a sleek machine of decadence as well as function. And as he as he kind of takes you over to it, he will lead you to your side, and with a wave of his hand, a sort of like you see a rune appear and carve itself and glow on the hood, and the doors, butterfly door open, and he just lets you into the seat, and will make his way to his side, and the doors just kind of seal shut, and he just like he kind of he he very proud of himself. He kind of looks to this thing, and it's like he sort of runs his hand along it, and similarly, like lights pinging up these runes that sort of draw themselves in and glow. And as the last one comes in, you hear, and it just kicks into life. And he kind of looks out, and the car moves into place on the road, and he kind of he looks over to you and just do you like it fast or slow?
Don't answer that. Nimra, don't answer that. Nimra, please do not answer that.
Oh my god!
As the resident male at the table, please do not answer that.
No one knows what an innuendo is.
No, I'm aware, but still, do not answer the question.
Answer the question.
Surprise me.
And just this like this like wicked grin on his face, and it just floors it, just boom, like in like a fucking rocket, just out onto the street. And like anyone still awake when this happens will hear in the distance a as it flies off, like kicks off, and you can see in the rear view and back behind you a trail of flames behind it as it rockets out, distancing itself from the palace, breaking the city limits, and hitting the wasteland in a matter of seconds. And just off. And for a while, he holds it at that speed to such a point that you see him like pulled back by it. And you see, I mean, I have to ask for this for Nimra because of who Nimra is. You have to make an insight check, unfortunately.
That's not going to be too terrible.
You don't just get this. Okay, good.
But also not going to be, like, great. That's going to be a 15.
Okay.
Hey, that
You
ain't
see,
bad.
for just a moment, before he's like looking out on the road, and he's not with you. He's back where he likes to be, and he's just in it. And in that initial speed, it sort of slows to a point where, as your body has adjusted and it slows just enough, you're not like being pulled into the seat, but it's still moving. It's still moving fast, and you see whizzing past the car, little outcroppings of stone. There are little outposts and buildings. You see little specks and dots that are full-size devils just darting past your view. And he kind of glances over. He kind of glances over at you and just there's a look on his face, right? And like for just a moment, yeah, I'll say that's enough with the 15. On the same insight, there's something there. Like there's a tinge of, and it like comes back to you when you saw it when you first went into his office and when he first came to the reserve. There's guilt in the expression that just as quickly as you see it, it's gone. And his smile is wide again, end to end, razor sharp teeth. It's just, how many laps can you make it through? And then boom, pushes it again and just boom, puts you back and is off. And for a little while, he is just around, dotting places. And what he will do, just for about an hour or two, bounce around, and he'll stop in places just to let you look, and see what there is. And then he'll go and stop somewhere else. And you see these places, these things, some that you might have read about, some that are completely new to you. These sort of like landscapes of this place. And you can see the like devils going about like their lives almost in different aspects. The good and the bad, the violence of devils amongst each other, and what they do in their spare time, because he'll stop at sort of random places and come upon random things, and it's just a smattering of these little glimpses of life down here. And the last one he takes you to, he comes up to like this sort of jagged sort of cliff face, Pride Rock style, sticking out over top like this kind of whole landscape, where he stops it and shuts it off. And just come with me. And doors open, and he steps out.
Also, because I didn't want to interrupt when you were doing your little explanations, but I do want to say, at each acceleration, Nimra might have started laughing.
We missed Nimra's first laugh.
We missed Nimra's first laugh.
Oh no!
I think
Oh my god.
I win.
You win. That's it. Game over.
Yeah.
Everybody, thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
I'm not done. I'm not done.
But Ruby won D&D, so
Yeah, we lost and Ruby won. It's fine. Oh God, a laugh.
They grew up so fast.
Yeah. Just, their first laugh in their, 40s. Equivalent.
Yeah, he steps out and he doesn't wait, but he just kind of makes his way to the end of this point of this cliff.
So I guess I want to say, what does this landscape look like from the cliff? Because I have to imagine Nimra's probably just staring out.
So, assuming you get out,
which they would take the hand.
Well, he left you. He said, "Follow me," but then he got out and he went.
Oh yeah, no, they would
so
follow.
Oh wow, okay.
You get out,
Fine.
and as you're making your way up, you can see it just sort of like it stretches out, almost like infinitely, and you can see little specks in the distance, the different places he stopped at, took you to. You can see in full the city in which his palace is built and the way it towers over everything. At this distance, it is like in size, I want to say the equivalent of, I'm going to be corny and show them on camera, my little miniature to like my phone, right? In scale of the city around it and the palace itself from top to bottom at this distance. And
he's overcompensating for something.
Just faintly winding through many of these places and snaking around sort of the edge, a deep crimson river kind of accentuates sort of the edge of this landscape of long and endless gray wasteland, dotted by these little sites, these little places of interest, as well as the occasional sort of natural formation. There's a mountain range in the distance, there's the river, there's like sort of more like hilly sort of space. And it's from here that you notice that the larger structures, because there's the city, which is sort of the biggest place here, but there are other sort of like, from this scale you can gauge to be about city-sized locations. They have roads, like a proper road that connects all of them, and from here makes a loop, a circuit around the whole place. And it's just like, it's like it's hell, like you might have read about it, but it's not, because it's its own thing, its own place, and it's distinct, and it's and you just kind of get the vaguest sense of his influence over the place and how he might have shaped it. You definitely get the sense he put that road there.
Nimra is just going to take in all of the sights. And for a second in the back of their head, they're going to think, I wish that I had brought my notebooks and tomes. Because those were probably left behind in the hallway. And then they're going to say, this view is unlike anything I've ever seen. And they're not even going to look at Hastur while they say this. They're trying very desperately to memorize each one of these structures, just kind of taking everything in and try to imagine everything in their head so they can recreate it later.
And he's looking out at everything. He's got his hands behind his back. It's beautiful, isn't it? In its own way. Awful, too. Dreadful. So many things. So many monsters lurking about. And I think kind of tilts, and he just sort of glances in your direction. I've long wondered, all these things, all this that awaits you here. Does it frighten you? Do you not worry what chasing your ambitions could cost you?
Nimra takes a moment to digest his words. At one point, it might have. When it was only myself. Before I had met yourself, my comrades, I'd considered many times looking for a means to get to Avernus. Oh, 3 hours, 18 minutes, 4 seconds.
Got it.
03, 18. I said 4 seconds? 8.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then 03, and I'll just wait for a time.
Okay.
It probably won't be for a minute. At one point, I had considered I'd been researching ways to get to Avernus, to travel myself. And then they look. Their features soften a little bit, maybe a little bit downturned. As you might be able to tell, I have a lot of theoretical experience as a wizard, not a lot of practical experience. The more I fight, the more I've learned, and the more capable I become in turn. 1929.
Welcome back.
No.
I-
Oh, my keyboard just went out. Okay, it's fine. I can't type.
It's okay. I got it written.
Okay.
I got it. 9 seconds.
Yeah, it was 3 hours 19:29.
Got
So it'll just look like I'm typing forever. Oops.
it. Proceed.
I am less scared now than I have been previously. I have some very strong and competent allies. I have a support system I'd never quite experienced before.
And now, Nimra, we're technically outside. Mac, I would like you to roll me a d20, please.
Oh. Okay, that's a 4.
Oh, interesting. That's the fun option.
Okay.
Damn it. I don't like the guy
Oh.
again. I was really liking him for a second.
4. Oh, well, right. Okay.
21. 04 tacos. Camera out.
So. He sort of looks out still and just. Many interesting developments since I've run into your little troop. You know, I've known about you for some time. You've been testing boundaries, summoning devils in your little office, charring the floor. These things make their way up. Plenty of them are itching to kill you, I hope you know. They don't like being subjugated. I made sure to deal with the ones under my purview before we met. And he turns to you, now just kind of like in full. It's interesting. Seeing and experiencing new things. That doesn't happen often down here. And you see, he goes to speak. He goes to continue, and he freezes. And kind of like his gaze is like lost out in nothing for a minute, and his hands kind of like tense. His fingers tense into like a sort of locked position. And just for a second, and then he just kind of back to normal and looks back out. What surprises may the future have in store? And he sort of raises his hands and for a moment sits in silence. And then you'll hear down by the car like a little and you glance back towards the sound, and there's an imp. It's kind of like by the car. Yes, boss. Take the car back. Yes, you idiot. I don't know if my little legs can reach the pedals, boss. And he's sort of like, again, and 2 more imps show up. You, brakes. You, gas. Don't be stupid. The main road. And they just And they all like start high-fiving and they're like, yeah, and they get into the car. Like it opens up and they get in, and he kind of looks to them just to watch them, and you see he like the frustration on his face as they like spin in a donut and then peel out, and they go. And
man.
as they just kind of off, bouncing over shit, and you see him wince each time it hits something, and then gets onto the road eventually, and he kind of like calms down
Feel
and
that in my
starts going.
Yeah.
And
He's a brave guy, letting them do that.
he turns back to Nimra, and extends a hand. And assuming that Nimra takes it or accepts, he will. This might be a little more personal. And he will bridle carry them and wings up, and you said you like it fast, or at least it seemed like you did. Boom! And he is like a rocket through the air on the way back to the palace. And as you go, this being much slower by comparison than the car, you just get to watch the landscape in a way that you can actually like take in, because it's not a blur just out before you as they go. And he takes you back, and it's like a 15-minute flight from here at this speed, right? And he just over everything, and what to Nimra would not be noticeable. Well, actually, your insight is decent, so he's very proud of himself, and he just like, and like, but like that sort of like, and this is something now you would have noticed this happen multiple times. Whenever he says some shit that's slick, like he's very proud of himself for like a second, or like a couple seconds, and then it sort of like goes. And give me an insight check again.
That's a natural 20, so for a 26.
We love that you get these at the best times. So you notice that they've been kind of going quickly after he says something like that. But there is a hint of sincerity in the smile that he carries. And as you go and eventually come back and the palace comes into better view, he slows down and lowers himself, and you just sort of feel like, because of how he's carrying you, it's a little awkward, but you sort of feel his fingers move, and then as you approach, the massive window by his office opens, and he just into the office and carefully sets you down as it closes behind him. And once your feet are back on solid ground, he just like he looks back to make sure it closes, and looks to you and just kind of like dinner, right?
No, we can shelve that for another time if you'll have me. But the experience was fun, nonetheless. Every time we meet, is this what adolescents feel?
I take that as 2 times. You've admitted to having fun. I think I'm on to something. Now, of course, if you'll permit me one final indulgence before the night is up. As the others will have discovered by now, and I'm going to ask you this because I do not want to overstep. As the others will have discovered by now, their rooms, they're all tailored to you. Your desires, your needs, where you are most comfortable. I have deliberately excised myself from these spaces, both as a means of showing my sincerity and my apologies to you all for failing you, and to give you the space you all needed to recuperate from what happened. But if you'll allow me, I would like to see your room.
I think that's fucking hilarious above table, because when everybody else was describing their rooms, I had a very specific thing in mind what I wanted to have for Nimra's room, and it's gonna be hilarious to have Haster see it.
This guy's moving too quick.
Oh my god.
They like this is a lot.
Oh.
The freaking testicular fortitude on this guy, man. Dude,
Above table again.
I'd like to see your room.
If you guys have ever ridden in a fast car like that, that's actually for racing, I gotta say,
Yeah.
it's so
Shit
fucking
kicks your ass.
fun. It does kick your
Rocks.
ass. It's great. I love it.
Sorry,
No.
Nimra. This archdevil would like to see where you're
Answer
going to
the
sleep.
question.
Oh man, I don't see why Nimra would say no. They
Yeah.
probably didn't get the underlying innuendo if there was an underlying innuendo.
I'm
I'm
innocent.
sure it was all innocent and above board.
Well, yeah. We're a family show.
Hey, those of you that have made it 9 episodes, remember, we're a family show.
That's right.
Wow, surprise.
Oh
know,
wait, do I
surprised
have
me
to
too.
censor myself? Oh
Well,
shit.
in
Oh
that
fuck.
case-
Oh god. Oh, beef.
I'm not doing that. So,
Content warnings can be found in the description below.
presuming,
Oh,
since
no,
there's
this
no
is gonna
reason
be-
Nimra would say no,
There's no reason Nimra would say no, and this is gonna be fucking hilarious.
he'll walk with you to where your room is.
Rick's sitting in the hallway, just so we're all
No, you see this.
right. And we heard the car go off, so he's alert.
You will see this. And, now, yeah, as the door opens up, you step in. He'll step, like, into the doorway and sort of lean against it and look. And please, describe Nimra's room.
So, to everybody's surprise, it does not look like their apartment that they have on off-campus housing for the Cobalt Soul. What they would see when they enter into that room is 2 twin beds seated on one side of the room, and the other is on the other side. One half of the room is just covered and littered with books, parchment, and is very drab in color. Gray sheets, gray pillowcase, gray comforter. There, you don't really see too much color variation on this side of the room. It's all very neutral. There's no posters hung up. There is just a small desk over by the bed, in which they have some tomes. This one is more recent. It has some of their tomes on their research. And on the other side of the room, there is a very distinct difference in the look and feel. It's covered in pinks and purples, fluffy pillows set aside everywhere. Half the bed is covered in pillows. There's stuffed animals. There's like an owlbear plushie. There's a Displacer Beast plushie. And there's this large vanity. Most of the furniture on this side is white. And very cutesy, very ornate. And on this vanity, there's jewelry littered everywhere, as well as some micro-soldering tools. Stuff that you might use for making jewelry. And you would recognize that this was Nimra's childhood bedroom that they shared with their sister Carrie Ash. Which is why I really
Oh my
want Esther
god.
to see this.
Someone, if not Nimra, then Rick, would be cognizant of his reaction. And he sort of he looks it over, and he smiles and just. Fitting. And he sort of takes a step back. And eventually, whether it's immediate or it takes a second, when Nimra's facing him again, he just sort of bows down, just a little, just kind of curtsy, right? And through each room, now, a little vignette. Huxley, where you've laid yourself on your crappy old flat pillow, you lay, and just before you fall asleep, you feel kind of, as your hand dangles off the side of the couch, brush up against your hand, and you look, and almost fully there, but just slightly the tinge of illusory view, you see Potluck just kind of up on your hand and around, and then his old ass try to hop up on and fail, and then try one more time and get up on you, and just kind of need at the bread factory for a second on you, and sort of nestle in onto you and just sit there. And Mal on your side, you kind of, as you settle in, set your arms around the mass bundle of pillows that's on the other side of the bed. You just kind of you shift, and when your eyes open for just a minute, in a similar semi-illusory but still present fashion, Felix is there with you, and he just kind of he's already passed out, but he's just out, just laying there. And Seal, as you sit by the fireplace, you see its embers almost kind of just and shift and meld and mold as a face familiar now starts to come into view in them. And Rick, you see as Nimra facing Hastur, he just kind of bows and takes your hand and gives it a kiss. Rest well.
Thank you.
You'll need to be at full strength tomorrow.
Thank you. Yet again for tonight. I'd planned on moping in your office until I eventually went to sleep. Thank you. And then they put their head, not their mouth, their head up against the hand that is being held by Hastur.
And as you do, and as you pull back just a bit, he just... Thank you. I was looking forward to a boring night of paperwork. And that's where the session ends for tonight. Celebratory exhales. We did it, everyone.
The difference in tone between these two episodes is so fucking wild.
Oh my god.
Somehow both still exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was with a short one. Can you imagine if I had another hour?
Woof.